The energy started to come back, and during the month of March, I walked 200 kilometers to raise money for cancer research. I was very happy with that, and I noticed at the very beginning of March, I only could walk 3 kilometers a day, and as the month progressed, I was up to 5, 8, sometimes 10 kilometers in a single session, which isn't too bad. Before the cancer diagnosis, I could walk 10 to 12 Ks a day. And I didn't really see a big difference until my hair started growing back. It's back, it's coming back. And the more the hair, and it started growing back really fast. And I attributed that to my health was coming back online. And my oncologist said, "Oh, that's a big difference. What are you doing?" I said, "Oh, I'm eating a balanced diet. I'm having an apple every day. I'm having lots of fruits and vegetables, and I've got protein back in my diet in the right proportions, and I'm sleeping better, and I've got more energy. So I just feel better." Am I 100%? No. But I'm on that. The road is right in front of me, and the trajectory is good.
Hello and welcome to the Metabolic Balance Stories podcast. This is where we share real stories and insights to help you understand more about functional nutrition, personalized nutrition, and metabolic balance. I'm Cherry Wills, I'm your host, and I'm delighted to welcome a wonderful guest today who has a great story of what I like to see is a great story of hope. Patricia Frederick, she started her metabolic balance journey this year, so mid-January. So we're only talking about 3-4 months ago. And she's joining me today to tell her story. So a big welcome to Patricia. Hello.
Hello. Nice to be here.
It's wonderful to have you here. So where do we start? So where would you start with sharing your story?
Well, I would start with a passion so I have a passion for food from a young age, although I didn't understand my passion at a young age. I sort of developed it later on in life. But I changed careers from a technology career that I had had for 23 years and decided to become a chef. And I retrained and became a French trained culinary professional and started working through different places and locations, including boarding schools where I looked after the diets of lots and lots and lots of young people. And that was exciting, but I also wanted to make sure we were feeding them good quality foods. So I worked really hard at making sure my menus sort of supported good health within the constraints of a contract. So that's how my love of food started. And then I progressed that into a personal chefing business in Sydney, where I did meal deliveries before there was a thing called meal deliveries. It was in 2010, and I had 26 unique clients who all had varying health concerns. And I started looking after them from a food perspective and creating meals that really supported them, but had a lot of flavor and taste and would be enjoyable. So that's where I started. Yeah.
Mm-hmm. And your health. So tell us about your health. Where did that go?
So the health, I've had a lot of different elements in my health journey, but the more recent one and the reason I found Metabolic Balance was almost a year ago. I had my first of 2 major surgeries for breast cancer. I got a diagnosis in March of 2025, which sent alarm bells and scared me. I've never been so scared. And I was working through that. My breast surgeon would not tell me what stage of cancer I had, but based on procedures and everything that I learned post the surgery, I learned that I had stage 3 breast cancer. So 2 surgeries were meant to remove the cancer, put a safety margin around the original mass, and to remove lymph nodes, which they took 14 lymph nodes out, which is heavy duty. and half of them were diseased. So good catch, but it's left me with some lymphedema issues. But there's not much I can do about that. But it scared me so much that I didn't want to go down too many rabbit holes. I didn't want to get too emotionally.
Yeah. Can I just ask, had you been relatively healthy all your life? I mean, it's an awful diagnosis, but if especially, if you'd been relatively healthy, just, eating well and sort of doing great stuff and looking after other people. And and then sort of this was your mid-60s, am I correct?
Correct. Yeah, 65.
Yeah, 65. You then have this diagnosis of breast cancer because I think a lot of women will really relate to this, that it is terrifying to have that moment that you think, well, what's happening here? And then if your surgeon's not really fully giving you the full picture, you're thinking, what is he not telling me here?
Oh, no, she was sharing the full picture with me. What she decided to do was not tell me what stage.
Which maybe was the right thing as well.
And for
This is an expert really working with you, so she must have judged that as being the right thing to happen at that time.
yes, she wanted positive outcomes, and she felt that if I spent too much time worrying about stages, it was not helping. It wouldn't help my health. It might take away. And in fact, it didn't really the cancer scare didn't I mean, it was there the whole time, but until I lost my hair with chemo did I really realize that, "Oh, no, this journey is gonna be a long one." Um,
Yeah, because then you had the chemo, and how did your body respond to that chemo?
I lost my hair, about 2 weeks after session number 1, so it went really fast, and my body reacted quite negatively the first few days, and then it settled down and it was okay. But chemo is a cumulative effect. So I had 6 rounds of chemo, and after each round, it kept building and building and building to the point where I they call it mouth thrush. It's like candida in the mouth. Everything tastes terrible. You don't really wanna eat. The smell of food sent me closing the refrigerator door and just going back sitting back down saying, I'm not gonna eat today. I just don't know what to eat. I don't like anything I'm seeing." So I was creating some sort of health drinks that weren't quite the right thing to be doing, but it meant that I could at least fill myself up with some protein. I was trying to get more fiber into my diet, but it was reacting badly to it was an interesting process of wanting to eat and not being able to eat. And that's a first for me.
Yeah, and you also got that knowledge that you need to eat too. I mean, you're knowledgeable that you've got that understanding of nutrients are needed, but actually, I want to eat, I know I need to eat, but I really can't eat.
Correct. And, um, I knew that, the chemo was doing damage to my gut, and I had worked so hard to make sure I always had a healthy gut, and that I always had enough fiber in my diet, and that all just went out the window. It it just wasn't part of life at that point. So, in between chemo and I had radiation therapy as well. In between the 2, I got in touch with an old friend, Mary-Leigh, who's, my metabolic health coach, because she and I know each other from another stage in our lives, and I reached out to her for support with my gut, and then we started talking about metabolic balance.
Yeah, yeah. So, what were your first thoughts on that?
Well, I knew that breast cancer was a metabolic disease, especially for a woman who has no genes that suggests that she's going to get cancer, breast cancer. Um, and all the tests done afterwards suggested I wasn't going to get breast cancer. So there was something else involved. And my age, I was 65, about to turn 66, and my lifestyle was fairly good. My diet was fairly good, but I was overweight, and I knew I was overweight, and going through chemo didn't help that at all. It made it worse. You think you'd lose weight, but I didn't. I was on too many steroids. Um, so I knew the body was out of balance, and I knew it had to come back to balance in order to speed up my recovery, because I wanted to get back to normal and then back to a new normal as fast as I possibly could. And when I started talking to Mary-Leigh about the program and reading more about it, it's like, I think this is the right place for me. Yeah.
Because you've kindly shared a photo of you on your last day of chemo, which is a great celebratory time as well. And for those watching on YouTube here, you'll be able to see that photo. And it I mean, all I see is a wonderful woman, but there is imbalance there. There's a journey to now go on to get yourself truly well.
Yes, that's right.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. So you started with Metabolic Balance in January this year, and tell us, how's it been?
Well, it's been a really interesting journey, and I've enjoyed it more than I expected to. When I got my individualized plan, which was nicely laid out, I loved it. I thought, this is great, step by step. Um, the thing that probably was the most challenging for me was only one protein in each meal, one type of protein in each meal. Because I'm used to adding lots of different things into a meal for flavor or texture or whatever.
Going to be going with all sorts of things. Yeah.
That's right. So I found that a little bit frustrating, but I've worked around it and I've worked with it. And by doing that, it meant that I went back to basics. I went back to herbs. I went back to garlic. I went back to onions. I went back to ginger. And I started playing more and more with those added, I'm going to call them flavor bombs because that's what they are, and just started adding more fresh herbs to everything. Excuse me. And once I started playing with my food again, I started going, oh, this is fun. So I've really been enjoying it. But initially, you can't cook with oil. So I used homemade vegetable broth to create a way of cooking. So you use kind of water or a liquid base instead of an oil base to cook your food.
Mm. And I think that is exactly what MD is about, is finding the flavor in the foods and reigniting a passion for the right foods for you at the right times and in the right quantities that really allow you to get well and balanced. And having that structure. I mean, I love the fact that you touched on, the guide excited you.
It did. Yeah. Um, and it's really interesting because I'm one of those people who colors outside the lines. So I don't necessarily follow all the rules. And I found, as I was looking at it going, oh, there's an awful lot of rules here. But as soon as I started putting some sense into why the rules existed, and I started reading between the lines, because I'm a health coach, and I started reading between the lines going, oh, I get why this is this way. And that structure it gave me that sense or that feeling of safety. And when you feel safe, your body then starts to relax. And when you relax, good things start to happen. The uptake of nutrients is better. You feel better. You look better. You start to just function in your own life better. So I found that the structure gave me a sense of security and safety, which is an odd thing to take out of all of that, but that's what it was.
No, I really agree. I mean, that's a brilliant way of putting it as well, because there is, as well, it's the direction too, isn't it? The structure also gives you a real direction of how you're going to manage your food every day, which again is a calming sense to be in, especially when you're going through that real health challenge that you were going through, and you knew you'd done all the wonderful treatment, you'd done what you needed to do, in order to fight the cancer. I don't really like using the word fight the cancer, but make the cancer work through the cancer. Yeah, that's a better word. But now you were ready to nurture yourself, but you had the knowledge and the guidelines and the structure to do that in a real genuine direction that would get you the results you needed.
Exactly. So, containing those 3 meals a day, was important. It also made you think, "Do I really need a snack? No, I don't. Do I really need that? No, I don't." Um, and some days I was better at it than other days.
That's life. That's human beings. We're all the same.
Those beautiful decision points that we make. And, just putting the structure out there really was good for the guidance and kind of keeping it real on a daily basis. And I also started adding different, adding smaller quantities of different types of vegetables in one meal. So I would have warm cooked vegetables with my protein and add them to a cold salad. So I had textures and flavors, and I had raw and cooked together, which really excited the taste buds. And looking at my plate again, I was like, "Oh, that could have used some capsicum. I'll add capsicum next time." Or, "Gee, I'm really loving having a few green beans. This has been really delightful." So I'm eating more vegetables that I didn't spend a lot of time eating before. Not that I didn't like them, I love them, but it's sort of helped me mm, not really rediscover, but redefine what a meal might look like in terms of what what vegetables to put with it. Because I always look at the vegetables first and then add the protein concept a little bit later. So I bounce between chicken and fish, sometimes pork. I've started really expanding my beans and legumes, and I don't eat as many eggs as I used to eat, just because I would eat eggs out of boredom because I didn't know what else to make. So I have lots of choice for my protein, and so now that decision point of have a different protein at every meal is easy because I don't have a fixed set. I have a whole variety that I can play with, and I learning to cook in liquids again speeds the cooking process up if you're eating meat, like pork or chicken or fish. It speeds the cooking time up immensely, so you can make a quick meal just like that and be completely satisfied, so it's lovely.
Yeah. What would you say? Because obviously you're a trained chef. You have wonderful culinary skills. And what would you say to somebody who's listening to this saying, "Well, I can't cook, so that's what would I do?" So, and you know this as well. You've helped people with the health coach point of view, way of helping people get. What would you say to them? Is probably my long-winded question here. Do you need to be a chef is the question.
No. Oh, heavens, no. In fact, being a chef is kind of being overqualified for the role, to be honest. What it I think what it I think what it requires is having an open mind first, being willing to try something you've never tried before. If you need a guide or some recipes to work with, the Facebook recipe community is a great place to start. The metabolic recipe community is fantastic. I've gotten some good ideas off of there myself. Um, and just start with the things that you really love and learn how to prepare them differently in unique ways. So maybe instead of just oven, pan frying or oven baking something, you might try sautéing it or cutting it in a different way to sort of enhance the way you prepare things. So I find that if I can do an animal protein product 3 or 4 different ways, so that creates variety in my week. But I also like fish, and I like vegetarian proteins as well. So I have a whole repertoire of things I can play with, and I just look in the vegetable crisper and go, "That would be really nice paired with that." And you can add some apple into it.
It's a skill that's learned then, isn't it, though? I mean, with every meal, I just feel people get better and I think it's one of the things I've sometimes said, and I'd love to have you know what you think about this, is that really what we've got to do is kind of get back to having that sort of childlike curiosity and playfulness and the childlike idea, do you know, it's okay if it doesn't quite work out or it's not perfect. I'll try again. I'll do it slightly differently or I'll try it with a different pairing next time. Because every day, every meal, we've got to do another. We need to keep on nourishing ourselves.
Yes. And it is actually easier than people realize when they take the blinders off and go, okay, what is possible? You don't have to be a chef. You don't have to be a foodie. You can just have the things you've always had, but maybe dress them up a little bit, add some fresh herbs. And herbs like parsley, they're high in iron. Fantastic herb to add to food, whether it's cooked or you put it on afterwards. Don't treat it like something, a garnish. Treat it like a food ingredient. You can actually have it raw in salads. It really lifts a bland salad. Fresh basil, mint, all of those beautiful herbs that are culinary herbs have nutritional value attached to them as well as bucket loads of flavor, just buckets of flavor. And just play with it. I mean, even the zest off of off the humble lemon will brighten food, and it's free. It comes with the lemon anyway. You're throwing it away. You're throwing away a valuable source of flavor and nutrition if you don't take the zest off your lemons.
Yeah. So we've got, you've started MB in January and you are now on your journey. Can you share a little bit more about how the results, how you started to feel as as day by day, week by week?
The energy started to come back. I initially lost quite a lot of weight, but I think that was just getting rid of bloating and chemicals. I wish I was still losing that much weight, but that's going to come once I'm really back to normal, I suspect. The energy started to come back, and during the month of March, I walked 200 kilometers to raise money for cancer research. I was very happy with that, and I noticed at the very beginning of March, I only could walk 3 kilometers a day, and as the month progressed, I was up to 5, 8, sometimes 10 kilometers in a single session, which isn't too bad. I thought it's pretty good. I before the cancer diagnosis, I could walk 10 to 12 Ks a day. So I'm still building, but I've started a swimming program again to get back in the pool to help with getting getting fit and getting my muscles back. And I started once a week doing a little mini boot camp with the people who live in my building. So I'm building and building, but the energy really it didn't start really coming back until March.
Yeah. But yeah, it takes time. Yeah. But yeah, yeah. And so how much would you attribute that is to what you were eating? Because some people could sit there and say, "Oh, well, you would have recovered anyway." What would how would you what would you say to the skeptics out there?
Well, in order to really regain your health, you need to attack it from multiple angles. So you need to get your gut health back because that's the seed of really good health. But balancing everything out as, in the name of the service and the program, Metabolic Balance, you need to balance all of it out in order for it to make a difference. And I didn't really see a big difference until my hair started growing back. It's back, it's coming back. Um, and the more the hair, and it started growing back really fast. And I attributed that to my health was coming back online. And my oncologist said, "Oh, that's a big difference. What are you doing?" I said, "Oh, I'm eating a balanced diet. I'm having an apple every day. I'm having lots of fruits and vegetables, and I've got protein back in my diet in the right proportions, and I'm sleeping better, and I've got more energy. So I just feel better." Am I 100%? No, but I'm on that. The road is right in front of me, and the trajectory is good.
Yeah. Because that's really coming back to the beginning when I said, this is the story of good, just hope, isn't it? I love to see it like that because the the knowledge that you have allowed yourself to learn with working with Mary-Leigh and getting your metabolic balance plan and then implementing it just daily and experiencing the changes and giving your body the best chance to rebalance and heal is brightening the future now.
Oh, it is. It is, and it looks very bright out there. I'm confident that I will be in a better position than I was before the cancer diagnosis. I know I will be because I'll be a lot. I think my nutritional profile will be more balanced where it should be because it's a personalized plan. So the foods that are in the plan are right for me, and I now know that. I know what foods are really good and what foods aren't based on how my body reacts to them, which is which is always good to know. But I do like the personalization part of it because I'm not a cookie. We're not cookie cutters of one another, um, and I think that is a huge um, edge for metabolic balance. Is I'm on a different plan to Susie over there or Jane over there. And what's really interesting is how Mary-Leigh's been able to balance all of that between all of us on a coaching call, for example. So you get this beautiful coaching call to hang out with the people who are in your program, and it's lovely to exchange ideas and to talk about things that you're facing and challenges that you're coming up against.
Yeah, because I was going to come wanting to really ask you that, and the Mary-Leigh and a metabolic balance coach is the starting point. It's as a professional practitioner only program, need to work with a practitioner. But also what you're sharing there is how important that is, because I know it's important. But, sometimes you kinda go, "I can do this by myself." Could you have done this by yourself?
I probably could have, but I probably wouldn't have. If yes, I could do it. I mean, I've got the knowledge. Would I have done it properly? I don't think so. And what would I have gained from the blood test? So there's things that came up in my blood tests that pointed us in a particular direction for my personalized plan because it pointed to healing and getting things back, certain things back on track. And so the first part of it is what has been about healing in order then to move forward. So the blood tests, I'm sure, are going to look so different than the first set, which were taken about 6 or 8 weeks after I finished chemo. So I'm sure they're going to be much improved.
Yeah.
But would I have gotten the balance right on my own? I don't think so. I think my ego would have gotten in the way, to be honest. And I say that because I know myself. And when you relax and allow new information to come in and be able to have a coach to help you, it's reassuring and it's supportive and it's helpful to have your questions answered. So coaches need coaches as well. Is what I like to say. So I might be a health coach and a chef, but I need help there too.
Yeah. And I think that speaks volumes in the fact that, one of my sort of a little bit of a pet peeve is in this world of, um we've got a wonderful spotlight happening right now on health, on actually bringing, food as medicine and the diet matters and things are changing. We've got you know, we've got the conversations are happening. But what I still feel is happening is that it's still a case of people being told, oh, you just work it out for yourself, do it yourself. If when you fail, it's your own fault kind of thing. And not actually that. First of all, you didn't get the right information that's really personalized to you, which is crucial. But equally, you didn't get the real support of being able to ask questions and have somebody listen to what's happening for you and unpack different symptoms that might be popping up, or even different mindset ideas of what might be happening.
Exactly, and also the coaching supports the when you're sort of waffling. You get support when you're in that waffle stage going, "Ugh, just can't be bothered with this anymore." You have that touch point, and that's a reassurance. Or if you don't have the touch point, you have the, "I should tell Mary-Leigh about this because I'm unsure about it," or, "I sort of blew it here."
It's the clarity. You have more of a clarity, don't you?
Yeah, you do. You really do. And I think that helps create that's a formula for success. Yeah, that guiding hand, it doesn't feel like it's a hovering hand, it feels just like a guiding hand. And for someone who likes to, color outside the lines, having a guiding hand is very helpful. Um, if it were too rigid, I wouldn't do it. So the guiding hand is supportive and helpful and there when you need it. It's like having the bumpers on bumper cars. It pushes you back, and pushes you forward. Hmm. Yeah, have some fun with that. The bumper cars when you were kids at the amusement parks. Yeah, that's good.
I love that sort of analogy because it's right. Because sometimes we are bumbling along a little bit, but actually, if we just kind of have that just like understanding, okay, there might be a little bit of a hiccup or a little bump in the road, but actually, yes, you're right. The guiding hand, the the objective advice sometimes as well that can come, that somebody being able to see the bigger picture, understand where we really want to take you, take us out of the minutia of maybe day-to-day issues and actually go, well, this is why you're doing it, remind us of our why.
Exactly. Exactly. And the rules structure, and I don't like to call them rules. It really is just a structure. Those 8 key points. Um, when you think about the reasons why, so not having 2 different types of protein in the same meal allows the body to digest what it needs to digest without confusion, without burdening the digestive system. And when you put it in that framework, it's like, oh, well, of course, you're not overloading your body and it's able to do what it has to do. So you're balancing things out in such a beautiful way without having to really think about it. Um, and then giving your body that space and time between meals is really helpful. You need to digest before you start filling up again so that you're not so that you're taking that trash out and making sure the body's getting it what it needs. So the formulation or the structure behind it makes sense if you just peel them away and go, what's really going on here? Why is this? Why are these things in place?
Yeah. And then when you add in that real every mouthful of food then is giving you the nutrition that you need. That's the food list is the key information. We have the philosophy of the structure, the guidelines, the rules, how we say it, and then we bring in that real personalized nutrition that makes the difference as well. It just every mouthful makes a difference.
So my personalized plan was put together with the blood results of someone who had chemo 8 weeks prior or 6 weeks prior. And the healing that I'm getting from that has been outstanding. It really has. So a lot of the inflammation and puffiness and chemical burden on my body seems to be lessening and lessening every week that goes by.
Yeah, and you shared a wonderful photo in the same clothes as when you, were at the end of that chemo, from last week.
Oh no, it was yesterday actually.
Oh, was it yesterday? Even even more fresh. Even more fresh. Yeah, so, and that's yes, I saw it today, so that's where, yeah. Wonderful. So, thank you so much for sharing that, it's been so wonderful to talk to you at this point in your journey as well, because you're not at there's still plenty of healing to go. but there's a lot of joy and a lot of hope, and that's again coming back to why I was really excited to when you said yes to coming on and sharing your story. I was like, yes, this is what people need to hear. Yeah.
And I know that, I'm just at the start of the journey, so this program has given me some tools and some, and some fantastic understandings to move it forward. So I know it's gonna be part of my life moving forward. Um, and I'm looking forward to seeing what my blood tests show.
And what would you say if you could say one thing to somebody who's sitting there, maybe in the place where you were, last year? What would you say to them?
My response to that is always look to, Mother Nature to support you. So if it's in the if it's part of the natural food world, make sure it's the right food world for you, and take the bull by the horns and eat whole, real food. It's there to nourish you. And metabolic balance helps you put that into perspective and work it through for yourself. Um, I mean, the program is based on whole, real food, which also spoke volumes to me. It's very important to not eat chemicals and numbers and packaged materials that aren't really food, and you get nourishment from what Mother Nature has provided. You really do. She's there to support, and it's all available to us.
And it's education. I mean, it's learn. Yeah, like you say, you put your ego to one side. You go, yep, let me learn here, and now you've learnt, and now the future is just implementing all of that knowledge.
That's right, and I'll continue to evolve from a learning perspective. I don't think I'm a massive person. I'm a person who loves to constantly learn things.
Curiosity. We've got to stay curious, haven't we?
We do, and the more I learn about what is good for me, the better I feel about myself.
And sometimes it's also learning the things that we thought were good, but actually they're not that good. That's another part of the learning too, isn't it?
That's right. So what's not in my personal food plan is olive oil and avocados. Odd things not to include, but they're not particularly good for me. And thing That's right, just for not for right now. But and that's fine. I've learned to work around them. I've learned to work with different products, which has opened up a whole world of, "Oh, yeah, I forgot about that. Oh, that would be pretty good here. Why didn't I think about that sooner?" So it's really expanding a knowledge base that was there and reopening it back up again and saying, "Ah, yes, I can work this way. I can work with this." And it's a lovely form of self-care, being able to feed yourself properly. That is self-love. If nothing else, it's self-love.
That's such a beautiful place to end as well, because I couldn't agree more. Real self care involves actually what are you nourishing your body with breakfast, lunch, and dinner just every day. That's self care. Yeah, yeah, but yeah. Thank you so much, Patricia. It's been so wonderful to hear your story, and I am obviously all in. I definitely want to hear. Maybe we get you back, 6 months, a year's time, and we'll have little catch ups, just to bring more, just wonderful, the real stories. That's what it's all about. So a big thank you. And for anybody listening who would like to know more about metabolic balance, please go to the website, metabolic-balance.com. Mary-Leigh Scheerhoorn is Patricia's wonderful metabolic balance practitioner. But there are hundreds of wonderful practitioners across the country and the globe. So on the website you can also find your local practitioner as well. So a big thank you again, Patricia, and we will catch everybody next time for more wonderful stories.